Zapdos TCG here, and welcome back to another TCG video on my channel. On this channel, you get daily Pokemon TCG content, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. Today, we're going to be checking out a buy list for Temporal Forces. This set actually comes out on the 22nd of March, and will have a huge impact because it's going to be the first set in combination with rotation that's going to be going into effect in full force on the European International Tournament in the beginning of April. So it's going to be very exciting. I'm going to be talking about all the most interesting cards you need in your binder to, of course, make decks with, because we already see some Japanese results that we see which cards do have indeed a huge impact. Also, this is my personal opinion. If your opinion is different, let me know down below in the comments on which cards you will include into your binder just because you think they might have competitive use at one point during their lifespan. Also, yeah, go check out our sponsors. If you are looking for Dragon Shield product, you can get 5% off using the coupon ZAPDOS5 over at DragonShield.com. There's YourPlaymat.com. If you want to create your own custom playmat from scratch, you can get 10% off, and they ship worldwide, so definitely check that out. PotaStore.com actually gets you covered if you want to create, or actually get TCG Live code cards. You can get 5% off using the coupon ZapdosTCG, and there's cardmarket.com for European players, where you're able to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. Use the referral name ZapdosTCG to help support the channel. With that being said, we're going to be diving into this buy list instantly. The first interesting card is Robska, which actually has the ability to prevent all damage from and effects of attacks done to your bench Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. At first, you might think this is actually like Jirachi and Manaphy fused together, but you actually will not be able, you're not going to be playing this exact card until Manaphy rotates, because when Manaphy rotates, you might have the, this is a stage 1, but you want to protect your bench, and if we don't have any other replacements, that's why you probably would need maybe a 2-2 line of the Robska. Next up is Iron Leaves, with its fantastic ability, flying itself to the active position when you slap it down on the bench, and you can absorb any amount of energies you want. The cool thing with Iron Leaves is that you can one-shot a Charizard EX with it, and Charizard EX is expected to be the most popular deck after rotation, so it's going to be very great to, of course, have a counter tech card in the format in the form of the Iron Leaves EX. You can get it off by using something like Arceus and Giratina. You can just use Trinity Nova, get some grass energies in play, and use the Iron Leaves to clean up on the Charizard EX. You can also use something like Sada for 2 grass energies in play, and then slap it down on the bench to fly yourself to the active position. You can do all sorts of things with Iron Leaves, so I personally would suggest getting like 2 copies into your binder. The other 2 cards here I probably would not include into your binder unless you're a true believer. Same goes for these cards. Iron Crown EX is definitely a fantastic looking card, allowing you to slap 20 more damage with your future Pokemon to the opponent's active Pokemon. So I would include 4 copies in your binder. This is going to be a card that's going to only get better when time goes on, because future Pokemon, when the future decks are established, you're definitely going to be having more damage output. And also, with that being said, I also would include like 3 copies of the Miraidon here with the peak acceleration attack, accelerating like 2 basic energies instantly from the deck to your future Pokemon in any way you like. 40 damage may not seem like a lot, but combined with that Iron Crown EX, you're actually going to be one-shotting weak HP Pokemon. Think about Charmander, Pidgey, Frigibax, Comfey, you name it. So 4 copies of Iron Crown and 3 copies of that Miraidon. Then 1 copy of Iron Boulder EX, which actually sees a little bit of play over in Japan. That Iron Boulder actually allows you, if you can get enough Iron Crowns out, or maybe the future energy boost capsules on top of that, you might be able to one-shot an Arceus V, and that's where it comes into play most of the time. So also, if you get damaged by an attack after you use the first attack, you can put 8 damage counters on the attacking Pokemon, helping you to lower the HP down of specific Pokemon while one-shotting things that are weak to fighting, which is actually super damn good. So 1 copy of Iron Boulder. Farigiraf EX is actually a card that prevents all damage done to it by attacks from your opponent's basic Pokemon EX. It might seem like an interesting thing, right? This card might actually see some play in some control-ish archetypes. Specific decks out there will not be able to hit Farigiraf because they only have basic EX, but as we currently are in the format, Charizard is an evolution EX. There's also, like, in the future boxes, they use the baby Miraidon. So I personally, it's a great card, but I haven't seen any success for it over in Japan. So I'm gonna be sticking to the core essentials, and we're not gonna be including Fairy Giraffe into our binder. It might actually become great in the future, but yeah, there's way too many decks that just win against Fairy Giraffe at this point, so probably would not include it. I think Charizard's not going anywhere. Also, yeah, you protect yourself against like basic Pokemon EX, so something like a Chimpao EX also is not able to damage this one. It actually is a pretty good ability. If you're a fan of it, you can actually go for like a 2 true line, I suppose, for a card like this, but I personally will not include it. Scizor, you don't need this. Metang, this is a card you need here with the Metal Marker, actually the Metal Maker. Once during your turn, you may look at the top 4 cards of your deck, choose any number of basic metal energies you find there, and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. Shuffle the other cards and put them on the bottom of the deck. So every Metang that doesn't find metal energies will improve the upcoming Metang. If that makes any sense, because you dig through the deck and the cards go to the bottom of the deck that are not energy. So the Metang here, very great for metal type decks, so you definitely want to have a 4-4 line of the Metang because it's gonna help out metal decks out there. Iron Tread is actually an interesting Pokemon, which actually, if it has a future energy boost capsule, it is both fighting and metal type. This actually can help against Arceus decks. It also can help against Chimpao decks. So actually would include maybe 2 copies into your binder because this will be used in the future box decks. As mentioned, this Miraidon you need 3 copies of in your binder. For all the trainer cards, I would suggest getting 4 copies. Unless I specifically say this is a bad card, don't get it. And on top of that, all the Ace Pack cards, you definitely need 1 Ace Pack card of every single card of the set from the Ace Packs, because they're all having their unique uses. Hand Clippers, both players discard cards in their hand until they have 5 cards remaining. Your opponent discards first. This is a card being used in the Great Tusk deck, and it also could be used as some control-ish archetypes. You of course use this to trim the opponent's hand, which is very, very, very good. So I would include 4 copies in my binder. It's just a trainer card. It's an uncommon. You're not gonna be wasting too much money on these. Reboot Pod, Ace Pack card, accelerating energies from the discard pile to your future Pokemon. You definitely need one of these. Hero Escape is seeing more and more play, so definitely get that. 100 additional HP without a downside is great. Heavy Baton, allowing you to absorb the energies from, if this card is attached to an attacking Pokemon with a 4 retreat cost and is knocked out, you can put 3 basic energy cards to your Pokemon on your bench in any way you like. So very strong. I would include like 4 copies for sure. Cryptomaniacs Deciphering actually got a new name over in the West. It's like Code Break or something. You definitely need 4 copies. Salvatore, 4 copies, allowing you to evolve instantly. Back in days of Wally, so with turn 1 item lock with Banette is possible with a card like this, so definitely included. Bianca, you don't need that, it's bad. Full Metal Lap, include 4 copies. You take 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon with your Metal Pokemon, so extra bulk. I see a couple of these being used in Goldengo. Mist Energy, 4 copies of that being used in Lugia V-Star to prevent yourself from getting one-shot by Frenzied Gouging and Star Requiem. And you can also use this in Arceus decks. Some Charizard lists are also including a 1 copy of this, just to make sure they cannot get one-shotted. Okay, moving forward, Whimsicott can heal all the damage from one of your grass Pokemon. I personally wouldn't include it, it's not that great. I don't personally think Torterra is a solid deck. Gouging Fire, I would include like 1 copy into your binder. It's being used sometimes in Charizard decks. You can make an entire Gouging Fire deck with some baby Moltres and Magma Basins and all that good stuff, but I have tested it out before and it doesn't seem like the best way to be playing Salda's Vitality in Ancient Boxes, so I only would include 1 copy. For Alligator is, some people are claiming this card is actually insanely good. I personally am not including it into my binder because of the fact that it's a little bit less consistent. Walking Wake, yeah, personally, you could use this to go through Pokemon's any effects. So cards like the Girafarig, the other one, you could go through with that ability. You could also hit a Mimikyu, so maybe include 1 copy into your binder. Relicanth is an interesting Pokemon. You only need 1 copy because sometimes you can use this to use the previous evolutions, their attacks. There's a lot of iterations of cards like this, they always have seen play, memory capsules, etc. So this, as a little example, you could slap this down, and then Giratina V-Star can use Shred from Giratina V, the underneath card. Great Tusk, 4 copies. This is going to be an annoying, aggressive mill archetype that you definitely want in your binder. You might even play it. Roaring Moon, baby. Roaring Moon is going to be the face of the Ancient Box, the 1 prize Ancient Box. You definitely need 4 copies in your binder. Vengeful Feathers is good. On top of that, you also need 4 copies of Koraidon in your binder because it helps out with the Ancient Box. Raging Bolt, I am not too big of a believer on currently, so I personally am not including it into my binder. You can combine that with Guard of War EX as a little bit of a crazy archetype, or Sandy Shocks EX from the Paradox Rift set. The Dunsparce, this actually is a draw Pokemon. I would include a 3-3 line of the Dunsparce in my deck because, not in my deck, but in my binder, because you never know when this actually might be useful. You evolve into it, you draw 3 cards, shuffle it back into the deck, and drawing cards has always been good in the game. Cinccino, you only need 3 copies. 4 is going to be a little bit overkill. Also, I would suggest buying some Minccino from Brilliant Stars to, of course, have some Call for Family action going around. So, yeah, Cinccino, very great in Lugia. It's the new face of Lugia V-Star. Okay. Delivery box, you don't need that. Drum of Awakening, you need 1 copy of. It's great in the 1 price Ancient Box. Emergency Board, currently I would only put like, I would say 2 copies into my binder. Not a lot of decks are using this. Only Lost Box is currently testing out Emergency Board to have a little bit of a pivot going around. Maximum Belt, very great. I would include 1 copy. You could use that in something like a Charizard deck to be the aggressor. So attack from Charizard can now hit 230 on the first attack against EX Pokemon without the opponent having even taken a prize card. Explorer's Guidance, you need 4 copies of that in your binder because it's a very, very strong supporter in Ancient Boxes, and it's very deep. It reminds me a little bit of Chorus, but you discard resources. Eerie, a very, very strong and underrated supporter, allowing you to look at the opponent's hand and discard 2 items you find there. This is a very strong card, not only in Snorlax block, but also sees a lot of play in Arceus Giratina decks to trim the opponent of resources. Think about rare candies, superior energy retrievals, etc. So very, very strong. Morty's Conviction, I would include 2 copies into your binder. Sometimes this sees play in Goldango decks. Yeah, to just establish a hand. So strong supporter, but doesn't seem that much of play. You also need you don't need more because there are more powerful supporters out there. Dangerous Jungle, yeah, putting 2 extra damage counters on poison Pokemon, except any darkness Pokemon. This could be combination with Brood Bonnet and something. So maybe include like 4 copies just in case this gets good. Moving forward, there are yeah, some interesting cards here that I personally am not too big of a fan of. They are actually not that great. Maybe if you're a true believer, you might include like this Miraidon EX, because with future boosting cards like the Iron Crown EX, the Cyber Drive actually slaps more damage than you might think. But other than that, I personally would focus on other attackers, but these are like additional attackers you could use. I am not putting any of them in my binder, so there's that. Torterra, not putting it in my binder. Fluttermane, that's something you want in your binder, 4 copies. It actually shuts down the opponent's active from using abilities. That means something like Comfey and Flower Selecting, forget about it. If let's say the opponent has Arceus Attach Pass, if they go to the V-Star, they cannot use their ability because the active Pokemon cannot use its ability. Very strong for sure. All the rest of these cards you don't need. Buddy Buddy Puffin is going to be the replacement of Battle VIP Pass and a lot of decks, so you definitely need 4 copies of that. You need a Master Ball Ace Pack card, searching any Pokemon you want. You need a 1 copy of Prime Catcher. The Neo Upper Energy is not being played currently, but I suggest if you pull it, put it in your binder. If not, don't especially buy this. It's not going to be seeing that much play. It's just a one-off energy. And that pretty much wraps it all up. So a very huge, impactful set here with Temporal Forces here. A lot of great cards, a lot of new archetypes. Future Box, Ancient Box, yeah, Mill archetypes, new supporters, all that. So definitely get yourself some Temporal Forces products because you will be needing lots and lots of cards for the European International. With that being said, thank you for watching today's upload. If you enjoyed it, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. Did I forget a couple of cards that you personally would include into the binder? Let me know down below in the comment section. As always, go check out our sponsors that make this video possible. You can get some percentages off of Dragon Shield, Your Playmat, Potown Store, and Card Market. You can use the referral name ZapDoesTCG. So thank you all for watching today's upload, and I will see you guys tomorrow for more Pokemon TCG madness. Peace!